How to become a happy person.
Om Namaste.
When you ask the question, how to become a happy person, it indicates that at the present moment, you are not in a state of happiness. You are at a point where there is no happiness, and you want to get there by going a certain way, to become somebody, to go on a path of formation, and get to a point where there is happiness, as if you wanted to get from point A to point B, and then to hold this state of happiness, to stay in it forever, never to leave it again. And this challenge is a challenge of the whole spiritual path in any religion. In the religion of Hinduism, in Sanatana Dharma, Buddhism, Bon, Taoism, in the Abrahamic religions of Christianity, Islam. How to get from the point of limitation, which is called karma, samsara, the circle of birth and death, where we're mortal, where we grow old, we get sick, we die, we're born, we don't know our divine essence, are not enlightened, have no experience of samadhi, where we rely on the ego, on the dual representation of the conceptual mind. How do we get to the point of play where there is no karma? How do we get to the point where death is transcended, where there is immortality, where there is non-duality, where subject and object are transcended? How do you get to the point of wisdom from the point of ignorance? And so there are two kinds of happiness. The first type of happiness is temporary happiness. If you want to be temporarily happy, you have to accumulate good deeds, kind actions. Even in Chinese Taoism, it was believed that in order to become an immortal of the initial level, you need to do at least 100 good deeds, and then engage in energy control exercises. And to become immortal of a higher level, so to say, forever, one must accumulate at least 1,000 good deeds, and then do the exercises on energy control. In the same way, other traditions say that if you want to become happy, you should accumulate sattva, the light of the soul. You should perform good deeds, speak good words, and conceive only good thoughts. This is called sattva, the energy of spiritual purity, love, joy, harmony, and compassion. It is not necessary to perform yoga, to do meditation, to do any kind of asceticism. To be temporarily happy, it is enough to participate in worship, to perform good deeds of body, speech, mind, to bring joy, to benefit people, to serve saints, to serve sadhus, to sacrifice. That is to lead a virtuous, good, pure, wise, balanced, harmonious way of life. And in traditional Hinduism, this is called dharma. Dharma means how to be happy in this life, and how to ensure happiness in the next life, such as being born into the world of the ancestors or the world of the gods. It's guaranteed. It's 100% way to happiness in this life. Try to accumulate inner purity, to think purely, act purely, honorably, to care for others, to serve the saints, to serve the Dharma, to do good deeds, to avoid evil speech. Control the mind, the thoughts, so that in the mind never condemn, curse, mock, to wish only happiness for everyone, to wish only good for everyone. And for some time, your past karma will still bother you, still limit you. But you must persistently follow this path. And sooner or later, you'll find that you're surrounded by happy people, that your actions make others happy, that your soul is filled with purity, light, grace, and happiness. And you move from the spectrum of low-fear emotions to a higher spectrum. If you had before dominated spectrum of fear, doubt, uncertainty, anxiety, tension, apathy, competition, aggression, anger, then you were living in that spectrum all the time and you weren't happy, of course, because those energies can't make you ever happy. Those are dangerous energies. They're energies of tamas and rajas. But with this approach, you move into a spectrum where starts dominating calmness, contentment, harmony, inner fulfillment and integrity, joy, happiness, delight, ecstasy, bliss, and the desire to praise divine truth, to glorify divine truth, life, being, love, everything beautiful in this world, to share with this world, the desire to open my heart to everyone. And this is just the beginning. You are truly can become happy in this life, but you need to change. A lot of people say, it's only the mind, change your mind. Yes, that's true. Everything depends on the mind and on the consciousness. But besides mind, we have body, we have speech, we have energy. If you only deal with the mind, you may not have enough of this life to become happy. So you have to change the mind, the thoughts, to wish everyone happiness. But in addition to that, you have to modify your speech. Your speech should be sattvic, harmonious. Your speech should bestow. Your speech should heal. Your speech should clarify. Your speech should make people happy, prosperous, and complete. It should also be comforting. Your speech should show the way, provide help to other people. Your speech should instill happiness, faith, hope, love, and compassion in others. And besides that, your actions, your deeds should also be subordinated to this idea. Then it will work. But still, it is a path to temporary happiness. By acting this way, you can get happiness in this life. As a merit, you can get heavenly paradise and happiness in the next life by acting this way. To obtain more stable, eternal, and indestructible happiness, you must go further to higher realms. That happiness which is destructible, it is inherent in the gods of samsara, the spirits, the high-level pitris, ancestors, ethereal, semi-divine, and divine beings. But that happiness which is indestructible and will never end again is inherent in the great gods, the siddhas, the rishis, the jnanis, the liberated ones. And this happiness is associated with liberation and enlightenment. Therefore, how can we attain indestructible, eternal, absolute happiness? The answer is simple. One has to discover the nature of the mind. And in the nature of the mind, you have to find God, divine reality, and one has to be established in it. One must attain one of the 5 types of liberation: Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sarshiti, or Sayujya. These are different degrees of closeness to God. One has to get so close to God so that one should never again be separated from abiding in God. To be happy from this point of view, one has to illuminate with consciousness all 4 levels of one's soul. What are these 4 levels? The ground floor is our waking state, and bringing the remembrance of God into it. The second level is our subconsciousness, the subtle body, the dreamlike state. It is necessary to bring the remembrance of God into it. The third floor is our superconsciousness, dreamless sleep. When we sleep, but there are no dreams, when there are no forms, no names, but unconscious emptiness, one should bring the remembrance of God to this third level. Finally, the fourth level is called Turiya, the transcendental, superior to these three. One must rise above wakefulness, sleep with dreams, then dreamless sleep, and to be established on the very finest edge of consciousness. And this thinnest edge of consciousness is indestructible, eternal happiness, what in the tradition of Sanatana Dharma is called moksha, liberation. And the one who seeks this supreme, indestructible, great liberation is called mumukshu. And this feeling, this desire for such liberation, is called mumukshutva, which is a passionate desire for liberation, a passionate desire to get closer to God, a passionate desire to rise above the vanity of this world, above the vanity of samsara, and to be established in the absolute indestructible state. So you can choose what kind of happiness you want to achieve. The first type of happiness can be achieved without much effort, but by purposeful work on yourself. But to achieve the second type of happiness, eternal, indestructible liberation, kings in ancient times left their kingdoms and became hermit monks, settled in jungles, forests, and mountains, lived in caves, performed terrible ascetic feats. And this path still exists and is still open. It is the path of the sadhu, the path of the sannyasi. If you are looking for such indestructible great happiness, then apart from sannyasa or karma sannyasa, I can't recommend anything else. Because these are the paths and statuses recommended for attaining supreme, indestructible happiness, oneness with God, liberation. And my blessings to you, whatever happiness you seek, you will find that happiness.
Om Namaste.